Welcome to Season 5 of My Wife the Dietitian, a fun, evidence-based weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy living. Feed a fever or starve a cold? Or is it the other way around? Is there any truth to this old wives' tale? Listen in as we discuss the best strategies for dealing with a cold. Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian. Hello, Sandra.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Do you feed a cold or starve a fever?
I do. Oh, sorry. What?
Have you heard of that old wives' tale?
I always eat. So whatever's going on with me, I eat.
I bet I'm sure people look that up and they go, "Oh, I've got a cold. What is it? Feed a cold, starve a cold."
You know what? It's exactly what I do when I'm sick, which isn't very often, thankfully, and knock on wood.
Yeah.
I do Google that because I'm like, am I supposed to eat a lot right now, or am I supposed to not eat a lot?
I know, and it confuses people, but it's like, is this true? Or I think people think it is true to feed a cold and starve a fever.
They kind of like value that kind of advice, hey?
Yeah, but it's been around since I think the 16th century. 1574. They said the fasting was a great remedy of fever, and Hippocrates actually said the most exquisitely slender diet you should have when disease is very sharp.
I thought you were going to read it like Socrates.
You can read it like Socrates.
I don't know what that means. Though. It sounded like you were changing your voice there for a minute to sound more like Socrates.
Right.
And it's like, what does he sound like?
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then what disease is very sharp? I guess the fever. And then the 18th century in 1853, they said you feed a cold and starve a fever. And it was actually a warning. If you feed a cold, then the cold will turn into a fever, and then you'll have to starve the fever. And then, I'm confused already. I know. And then if you have a fever, you don't eat. So it's, what do you think?
I think that it sounds to me like nutrition has always been confusing. Right? And they've just continued that trend since the 1500s.
That is so funny, Rob. Oh my gosh, you're hilarious.
I'm already lost and we're only like 2 minutes in.
So funny. Feed a cold, starve a fever. What do you think?
You still want me to answer that?
Well, what do you think we should do? What should people do?
I don't know. I call my mom and she tells me what to do, or I call you and you tell me what to do.
You're funny.
I just do what my body tells me to do, to be honest. If I'm hungry, I'll eat.
Yeah.
But then there's all these rules like, oh no, you shouldn't eat that when you have a cold. And I'm like, I don't know. That's what I feel like eating. And that, I don't know, to me, it's like, if I feel like eating that, then maybe that means I'm getting better. Or if I don't feel like eating, it's probably, I need to sleep.
Right.
It's just like common sense. I think.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. That's a good way to view it. Like if you don't have an appetite and your body's like putting its resources into the immune system to get better and you don't feel like eating, yeah, that's probably okay. But at the same time, it's usually short-lived, right? Like a day or two. And most people they're okay to not like go wild with overeating and like eating too much. But at the same time, we do need the nutrients, right? And you definitely need the hydration.
Yeah, for sure. Hydration.
Either way, right? Like the fluid, it's really, really important to get the hydration.
Which is usually in the form of like juice, which will be like your electrolytes, right? That's why juice is kind of recommended sometimes for certain.
Water, broth, tea are like the big ones. There was an interesting in a writer in the Gentleman's Magazine in 1785. The Gentleman's Magazine, I love it. It said if you starve a fever, it's more destructive to mankind than the plague itself. So it was like, okay, like it's a little bit overstated that, okay, this is like it's probably not.
Like that's just kind of an overkill statement, you mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it suggested to use barley water and apple water and linseed tea and toast in water and small beer.
Oh, small beer is okay. Yeah.
So interesting.
Crazy.
So, yeah. And so, I mean, definitely we need to support our immune system and we need to get the nutrition. But if you don't feel much like eating when you have a cold, you want to make sure you're still getting the water, the fluid, the hydration, right? And that actually has a function.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because when you have a cold, you know how your mucous membranes, they kind of dry up or they're like
super wet or super dry.
Exactly. And the broth, like the warm soup or drinks, like you said, like even the electrolyte, like the broth is like an electrolyte drink, right? So yeah, when you have like a sore throat, runny nose, a cough, you're tired, you get the chills, that like you are possibly could get dehydrated.
Right.
And in both cases with a cold or a fever, because, you know, with a fever, it can dehydrate with like if you're sweating or if you have other symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea. So then you're going to be losing fluids.
Right.
So really important. And if the mucus, like if it's hard and like, you know, your nose is clogged and you feel gross, then the fluids, the broth, like the warm soup will help loosen up the fluids and your mucous membranes.
I see. Okay.
And then that helps with, you know, when you cough, then you're trying to expel the germs and get rid of the virus, right?
Right.
So having enough hydration is really important. And, you know, your body does need the energy to help with the immune system. So there's certain nutrients that are really helpful, right? Like getting enough vitamin C rich foods and zinc and protein. Those are critical for helping your immune system function. And when the fever goes up or when you do get a fever, that actually increases your energy requirements because it increases your metabolism. So your body is probably directing the energy to the immune system to do its work and not necessarily to the digestion. So you might not feel that hungry, but like I said, keeping hydrated is really important. And basically the consensus, like the scientific consensus of the present day, is generally viewed as not good advice to starve yourself or starve a fever. You know, like that's in both cases, you should feed a cold and fever.
I see. Okay. It's come full circle now. I wasn't sure where this was going.
Yeah.
I was still confused from the beginning.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So we're just trying to like myth bust a little bit that wives' tale. Is that kind of the whole gist?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely. Well, I think just people, like you think, like when you're getting sick, you're like, oh, what should I do? What should I eat? But I like your recommendation is like, what do you feel like? What's your body telling you? And fluids are really important. And if you don't have much of an appetite, then you probably just need to keep the fluid intake up throughout the day, like small, frequent meals and snacks and lots of fluids. But yeah, like having the soup we just talked about, right? And tea and like just, you know, keeping yourself hydrated.
What about that wives' tale where you put a shot of whiskey in your tea before you go to bed? Or whatever it was.
Is that a wives' tale?
Oh, I think there's a whole bunch
Guinness?
of things where you put a shot of whiskey into something.
Well,
that was a cure-all back in the day, wasn't it?
Well, isn't like some of the cold remedies, they actually have alcohol in them,
like
NyQuil and stuff?
People even suggest that for getting your kids to sleep.
Right. Well, and I mean, the alcohol is a natural sedative. So I can see, but I mean, it's not, you know, having lots of alcohol is not great, obviously.
I know, right? It's kind of funny.
Yeah. And it's not going to help your immune system either.
No.
It's, yeah. And there was a study in 2002 in the Netherlands. So the Dutch researchers, they wanted to see what would happen if people fasted for 24 hours when they had a cold. So the people that they gave them a meal replacement drink, and their blood levels of this immune system interferon gamma, it went up 450%. So it did actually improve their immune system. So like a meal replacement drink with some calories and protein and vitamins and minerals.
Right.
So that actually helped. And then the people that were fasting and they didn't have anything for 24 hours, their innate immune system, their IL-4, increased by 400%. So it actually it helped their body to stimulate their own immune system when they were fasting. So what does that mean? But at the same time, we know that we need to keep hydrated, and getting nutrition when you're sick is a good idea, because especially if you're immunocompromised or if you're elderly or frail, and having a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or more of calorie deficit day after day after day, that is going to impact your lean muscle. You're going to lose, you're going to increase your frailty risk.
And I'm guessing that when you're sick, you're not super hungry. You're not eating huge full meals. So it's even more important that the food you do eat is, nutritionally dense.
Yeah.
Having a piece of white toast maybe is what you feel like, but it's probably not going to do you much good. I don't know.
Well, no, I think that's exactly what you want.
Really?
Just, bland, like dry, kind of.
You just want the calories, not so much concerned about the fiber or the protein or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably not going to have your regular meals and like your robust, balanced plate. You probably just won't feel like it. Helping people with morning sickness, or if someone's going through cancer treatment and they have chemotherapy and they don't have much of an appetite, we're looking at like small frequent meals and snacks, and we're looking at trying to get enough hydration and calories in your drinks so that you are getting the protein and the vitamins and minerals and the nutrients, but in a form that is more easily, it can go in more easily, less
like your
work.
your body can tolerate it.
Yeah,
kind of
less
thing.
work to digest.
Sure,
too, right?
I see. Okay.
Like smoothies are great. With some people with a cold, they might not feel like having dairy products. They might feel like it sticks to their mucous membranes. And yeah, that could happen, especially if you have, any issues with intolerance, like lactose intolerance or milk allergies, or any issue with having milk products.
Right.
They might not be helpful when you're trying to get through healing with a cold.
Gotcha.
So there's some episodes that we have that we can link in the show notes about soup, like Nutrition Nuggets 155. And then there was another one on soup, also Nutrition Nuggets 138. And just to give people an idea, if they are sick, if they're, trying to feed a cold, trying to feed a fever, soup is a good way to help to get through that illness.
Perfect. Anything else?
No, I think just the key points is hydration. Try to avoid dehydration. So making sure you're getting lots of fluids through the day. We have an episode on the immune system. Episode 3 and 4 are both on nutrients for your immune system.
Yeah, that's a really thorough, it's 2, part A and part B, thorough discussion on all sorts of different things that are good for you.
Yeah, and what if you have a fever in the morning or fever all through the night? Fever isn't a new thing. Fever started years ago.
Oh no. Where's the hook? Drag you off stage.
Peggy Lee, Madonna, Ella Fitzgerald, they all sang about fever.
Oh, they did.
But I don't think they said starve of fever.
Maybe not. All right. I think we're done here. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for putting up with us. If you want more great tips, check out our website. It's mywifethedietitian.com. And if you have questions for us, send us an email. I love hearing your questions, your ideas, all that stuff. Happy to answer your question. We'll turn it into an episode, usually. That's what we'll do. But let us know what's on your mind. You can email us at mywifetherd@gmail.com. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter as well. We've got a free weekly newsletter, and you can find a link for that on the website. Be sure to join that. There's lots of great recipes and nutrition tips and ideas and updates and all sorts of things in the newsletter. So it's worth getting on board with that. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to reach out to us there as well. And if you're liking the show, let us know. Love hearing your feedback, your comments, your ideas, your questions, all of that stuff. Super helpful. And if you're liking the show, I bet your friends would too. So be sure to share with them. So that is it for this episode. We will be back on Thursday with nutrition nuggets. So until then, have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.